Good morning, everyone. And what a great stage this is. I was
nice.
on the other, much darker stage, but this is nice. We can actually see everyone. So hope everyone had a good first day. And Noah, it is a pleasure to be here with you.
Same to you.
And I don't know if I have to do some kind of disclosure, so I'll just do it so that we're both in the safe zone. NBC Universal, my organization, CNBC, is now the largest stakeholder in Acorns. So let's start off. Give me your 30-second, 1-minute pitch that you would give investors, or maybe that you gave to my bosses at CNBC. Tell me a little bit about Acorns.
So Acorns helps everyday Americans save and invest spare change. That's sort of like the quick pitch. That's how we begin with customers. We sign you up, you connect your bank, your debit and credit cards, we round up your purchases to the nearest dollar and then invest the spare change for you. And that's how everything starts. And then we introduce you to new products from there.
Great, and I kind of think of it as sort of the pocket change. You guys are looking at pocket change and investing that for people who may not necessarily be interested in investing in mutual funds, but have a few dollars here or there to spare, and you might as well put it into the sort of fund that you guys are running. So really interesting proposition, and you guys have attracted a lot of money. We're here on the almost unicorn stage. And what I find is really interesting when I started looking at you guys is your valuation is actually worth more than that of Betterment, robo-advisors, yet you have, is it 5 million accounts now? About $1 billion under management.
$1.5 billion.
$1.5 billion now under management, so that's growing very quickly. Betterment has $14 billion under management. So why do you think that you guys have attracted sort of a higher valuation than this company that has a lot more under management doing other things?
Yeah. So I don't know how to answer that completely, but so we have a pretty simple business model. We have a subscription business. So there's a $1 a month tier, a $2 a month tier, and a $3 a month tier. We do brand partnerships. We have about 350 brand partners from Sam's Club to Nike to Airbnb, and those partners invest into our customers' accounts when they shop with them, and then we make money from that. And we've also just recently rolled out Acorns Spend, which is the first debit card that saves and invests for you. And so we also make interchange revenue from that. So I'd say like, robo-advising is a part of Acorns, but it's really not the core of the company anymore. We've expanded out. We call it a financial wellness system that enables everyday Americans to save and invest every day. And what that means for us is everything you do in your financial life impacts how well or not you're saving and investing money. So how you spend, how you earn, how much debt you have, how well protected you are, how much you know, all of these things, it all comes back to how much you're saving and investing. So we think of Acorns and the future of it is this concept of a financial wellness system where everything comes back to helping you save and invest money, but we'll be in all the areas of your financial life to make sure you're doing that most effectively.
And I think that's key when you talk about wellness, right? I think that's a big part of your proposition and the part that investors have responded to. But when we talk about $1.5 billion under management right now, where do you want to be eventually? Where do you want to be a year from now and 5 years from now?
So our goal is 100 million everyday Americans saving and investing every day. We don't really have an assets under management goal. It's not our business. In terms of how we think about that is like, let's get our customers to save and invest as much as they can. I mean, the statistics about how much Americans have in emergency savings or how many Americans are investing every day is pretty crazy, you know. So like 60 to 70% of Americans don't have $1,000 in emergency savings, and those are our customers. Like, we're not catering to people who have money. We're catering to people who want to grow money.
100 billion under management. When was that timeline?
100 million everyday Americans.
Everyday Americans. So how much do you want to eventually
day.
have under management? And how much do you think that you can get to?
That's not our goal. It's not like it's not about how much we have under management. It's how many customers, how many Americans, how many everyday Americans are saving and investing every day.
How do you look at things like engagement? You have 5 million customers or 5 million accounts. How many of those are active, and what are they using it for?
So 2.5 million are active in terms of investing, and then we have customers using our Found Money program, which is where brands invest in you as a reward for shopping, consuming the financial literacy content, using our debit card, signing up for Acorns Later, which is the first retirement account. There's like this sort of easiest retirement account to sign up for, I think, in the market. So we opened it about 12 months ago. We've had 500,000 of our customers open up retirement accounts. It takes like 60 seconds. So there's a whole bunch of products we offer that they use.
Let's talk a little bit about the business model. You said it's a subscription model, and I was talking to Noah in prepping for this, and one of the things you said that I really loved, you said something like free stuff is a fool's errand. You have no problem charging for things, and where I report from San Francisco, that's how a lot of startups operate, is offering something free, and you made a really good point, is that it may not really be free. So tell me about that decision to charge a subscription fee, and if you're willing to tell us whether you're profitable or how you think about that.
Yeah, well, obviously nothing's free. I don't think you can't build a business if everything's free. So you make money somehow.
Well, you can actually attract a lot of VC dollars.
So you can attract a lot, but I think a long-term, obviously, a sustainable business. We charge a very clear price. It's $1 for this a month. It's $2 for this. It's $3 for this. It's clear what you get, clear what you pay. There's no hidden fees. We like to say like surprise upgrade, not surprise fees. So we take pride in the fact that we charge for the product. And I think, it's certainly like, I think if you're making something that's really clear, that adds value, that people feel has value, and what you're charging is less than the value that the person gets, I think that's a great model. And I honestly don't know why everybody's doing everything free.
Well, what you're finding is that your customers are willing and they're happy to pay for it?
Yeah.
They are?
Yeah.
How do you determine that? Just the amount of people who are signing up?
Yeah, and how many people stay with us, yeah.
So then, how do you think of profitability? Are you guys profitable? Is that important to you?
It's hugely important to me. We're focused. So like I said, we have a subscription business model. We make money from brand partners, and we make money from interchange. So building a sustainable business is for us just as important as how many customers we grow and how all this. So it's a huge focus for us, obviously.
Clearly, but what is the time frame? If I was talking to an Uber or Lyft or some of these companies that have IPO'd, they'd argue that it's growth at all costs, and you got to put every dollar back into the business to achieve and gain scale. So how do you think about that as well? Are you putting all the money back into the business? When do you want to be profitable?
So it's a balance. I mean, we are focusing a lot on growth. We're investing a lot into our banking product. I think, as long as we see that acquiring customers, the cost to acquire customers is reasonable, we acquire customers for really, really low cost. So as long as the lifetime value works and the economics work, then we keep growing. But we're very much focused on that balance between growth and also building a sustainable business.
Who are your competitors? And you mentioned that you're not looking at the people who have a lot of money, typically in the traditional banking sphere, but I think what you're proving is that there can be a lot of money in pocket change. So who do you think are your biggest competitors?
This is going to sound maybe a little trite, but I think we have the right vision and plan, and so I think of our ability to execute against the plan as our biggest kind of competitor. But I mean, you could say everything from Square to Apple to the banks, so.
What's interesting is, though, you also have investment from PayPal, who could be a big competitor, but now that you're partnering with them, how does that work? What do you want to gain from it?
So Acorns is integrated into PayPal. So if you open the PayPal app and tap on the More icon, it says Invest with Acorns, and you can set up an Acorns account right from inside PayPal, which is nice. So yeah, they're a big investor of ours and support our growth that way.
Are you looking at more partnerships?
Yeah, you guys, obviously the CNBC.
We'll get to that in a moment.
Yeah.
In terms of the fintech space, and you mentioned Square and you mentioned Apple. You partnered with PayPal, and PayPal, as far as I can tell, is partnered with everybody. Seems to be the strategy, certainly.
Mm-hmm.
So who else would you look at? And if you don't want to give me names, then sort of hypothetically, who could be a good partner? Would it be a credit card company? Would it be another fintech like a PayPal or Square? Would it be an Apple, a big tech company?
So PayPal made a ton of sense to help with growth. BlackRock was the next investor, and so we've worked with them a lot on investing products, and then CNBC on education, which is really core and fundamental, to what Acorns is about and our mission of looking after the financial best interests of the up and coming. So we look at these partnerships as like, okay, here are the priorities for us, and then how can we partner to accelerate that?
So you're looking where it makes sense. Mm-hmm. Have you caught the eye of traditional banks? When we talk about pocket change, it's not typically in their sphere, but you see a Goldman Sachs partnering with an Apple, and you could argue that it's less about this credit card and more about bringing this sort of demographic into the Goldman ecosystem and having access to that data. So it seems to me in a way that they've got their eye potentially on this space, or at least broadening their audience. So how have you seen that? Do you talk to any of the traditional banks on a regular basis?
Yeah, we do. We're really not concerned with what other people are doing. Our focus is really here's our vision. I think I like to look back and forward. I think if you spend a lot of time looking right and left, it's a bit of a waste of time. So. Okay.
Briefly, your thoughts on the Goldman Apple card in the fintech space. Do you think that this is something that consumers are going to like, are going to want to use?
I think Apple does a great job of building consumer products, and I appreciated the way they unveiled it, and so I think it'll do well. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about the CNBC partnership,
Yep.
which is, you briefly mentioned this, education is critical to your platform. How did it come about, and are you pleased with what you've seen so far?
Yeah. So our vision for sort of a bank of the future is that it should lead with education. And what that means is you should make sure people know exactly what they're getting. You should make sure people are incredibly informed. You should make sure that people are educated at the moment of decision making. And then, as the relationship continues, just making sure people are incredibly well educated and informed. I think that's a paradigm shift in the sense that I don't think education has been a priority in financial services. It's not a priority in school, financial literacy. So we look at it as what we call growing your knowledge is core to Acorns as investing, as spending, as earning, as any of these things. And I think our customers appreciate the fact that we prioritize it. So the partnership with CNBC was like, how do we take this thing that we've been doing and elevate it? How do we enhance the content? How do we make it more relevant? How do we broaden it? CNBC staffed up with a team of 20 people to support the things we're doing. And I think the idea of a financial services company leading with education is a powerful and different idea. Mm-hmm. So.
And I think it's been really interesting on the CNBC side as well, because of course we talk to traders and CEOs, but we also have the mom and pop investors, and we're also, I think CNBC and all media companies are trying to include some of the cord cutters and millennials that don't bank in the traditional ways necessarily. How do you judge the partnership so far? And have you had people come to you? Is it a marketing tool as well? And tell me how you sort of balance that.
It's first and foremost a financial literacy partnership. I think, if you look back on 3 decades of CNBC's helped people who have money become better investors. And I think our quest is, how do we put the tools of wealth making in everyone's hands? And so to bring those decades of experience and knowledge and bring that to bear on us, where we're focused on everyday Americans, I think is a really powerful partnership. So far it's been quite effective. We do a lot of financial literacy stuff on CNBC. We do it on Acorns. We do it in the apps. We do it on acorns.com. So it's really all about getting, raising the levels of literacy for everyday Americans. And if you think about the fact that 66% of Americans can't pass a basic financial literacy test, you think about how many people graduate from school without knowing how to do taxes or basically taking care of fundamental aspects of their financial lives, this is an imperative. So that's just.
As you educate, as you get more information, collect more data, see people's spending patterns as well, what does the pipeline of products look like? What do you want to be offering 10 years from now? Is there a credit card? Are there mortgages? Are there loans? What do you look at?
So we look at everything in your financial life that impacts how you save and invest, which is everything in your financial life. So how much debt you have, like I said, how you're spending, how much you've earned, and how you're earning and how to earn extra money. All of these things. The number one reason people don't save and invest enough, obviously, is they don't earn enough. So how do all these things come together in one product to help you save and invest more money? And I think being a really purpose-driven product and having all of the features come together around a unifying principle is important. When you think about even in the fintech space, I think, it's essentially a drop-down menu of options. That's the way the banks have been. And so it's get this account, get this product, try this, but it's why?
Yeah.
and how does it all work together to help me and my future? So that's how we think about it.
So is that a yes then eventually, going into credit cards and loans and?
We'll be in everything that helps people save and invest more effectively. Not to be coy. I mean, I'll give you. So the way I think about credit, so our debit card, I think about increased liquidity. It's like, typically a person overdrafts because they needed 2 or 3 days of extra liquidity, which is not really fair. So how do you give people a little extra liquidity? That's how I think about credit.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Is an IPO eventually important to you, or as you build your presence, is an acquisition by perhaps a bank or another fintech company or tech company something that you'd be open to?
So obviously we get this question a lot. This one and what keeps you up at night, which is everything. And my dog keeps me up at night. We have a core set of 5 values, a mission statement, and a goal, right? And I don't think about, I'm not one of these sort of we have to go public. This is the path forward. We would never entertain an acquisition. We don't really think that way. It's more what's the best path to move forward to achieve our goal. So I don't know what that outcome will be, but
you said not open to an acquisition, right?
We're not closed to something like that, but a public offering could be the path. If there was a company where we felt like the values match, the mission is aligned, we can achieve our goal faster, and the team would be happy, right? There's all these considerations.
Yep.
We did an acquisition 1.5 years ago of a company called Vault in Portland. They were a small company. They had 5. It was basically Acorns for retirement. The founder and I sat down for 4 hours. It was really clear that we saw eye to eye. I visited his office, small team, walked in, and it was really clear this was the same energy, culture.
Okay.
We spent a lot of time getting to know each other, and 1.5 years later, we have 500,000 retirement accounts, and the team has quadrupled in size and totally intact. That was about, do you really see the world through a similar lens? Do you really share a set of core values? Do you really buy into this mission?
And once you were convinced of that, it made sense.
100%, yeah.
Fair enough. We're almost out of time, so I want to get to the overrated, underrated game, which I just learned at this conference, which is really fun. But before I do that, since we're at a fintech conference, what is a company that you think is doing things really, really well right now in the fintech space that you sort of keep an eye on and are interested in what they're doing?
I mean, I'm a fan of Square. I think Square does really, the Square Cash app, which took a little while to work, has been in pole position in financial services in the App Store for over a year. It's number 1 for over a year. It's a really simple product. I think they care about product design, and I think they're really clear about what they stand for, and so I respect that, and Jack I respect, so.
He's doing.
Yeah.
Great.
And I also think they have I think they care about product quality and people, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, let's play overrated, underrated. So I'm going to name something, and you just got to say if you think it's overrated or underrated. You can't be too diplomatic and say neither.
I'm really not diplomatic. I feel like I'm a little too diplomatic.
Okay, good. The game's fun this way.
Let's go. Yeah.
First one for you, J.P. Morgan Chase. I really set you up for this by saying you couldn't dodge it ahead of time.
Wow, that's a tough one. I bank with J.P. Morgan Chase. It depends, what I'm supposed to answer quickly. It depends what perspective you're coming from.
You don't need to explain. You can just give us your answer.
Overrated.
Oh, okay. Human financial advisors. You're in a safe space.
Underrated.
Underrated? Okay. Betterment.
Is John?
Told you this game was fun.
Yeah, oh man. Underrated.
Underrated. High yield savings accounts.
Overrated.
Answer. Yeah, that's an easy one. Marcus by Goldman. By the way, David Solomon believes it's underrated and undervalued.
Then I got to say overrated.
Credit cards.
I'm also a DJ, but a real DJ.
Are you? Oh, okay. Wow. That could be interesting. CB Insights.
You want to, yeah.
Could be a good party. Solomon's DJing abilities, skill.
Overrated.
Credit cards.
Overrated.
Okay. Last one for fun, and I don't know if you've talked to him, Masayoshi-san, or the Vision Fund.
Oh, that's a good one.
Actually, can we open that one up to the audience? After your answer.
Right now, underrated.
Okay. Show of hands. Who thinks that the Vision Fund is overrated? Interesting. It's a little less than half. Underrated? Okay, so there's some people sitting it out.
Yeah, you can't sit it out.
I didn't let you get away with it, but I can't.
Yeah.
There's only so much I can do.
I like it. Just do more.
I know. Well, we're out of time. You got one?
Oh,
One last one? You wish I asked you about, or you feel very strongly it's either underrated or overrated?
Uber.
Are you?
I'm asking you.
I can't. I'm a
yeah,
reporter.
but what do you mean? You can't get back up.
I gotta stay unbiased. I am totally yourself.
Underrated.
Underrated. All right. Well, it certainly seems interesting take. Okay, I can't say anything. Noah, this has been really fun. Thank you very much for doing this.
Appreciate
and
it. Thanks
please help me thanking Noah.
Okay.
And let me just ask Anna.